It's an Eastern Division collision at Trinity Health Stadium as Hartford Athletic hosts Pittsburgh Riverhounds. Hi, everybody. Along with Phil Murphy, filling in for Mark Donaldson, I'm Joe D'Ambrosio. And Phil, these are two teams that are having problems scoring goals, so it's either going to be 1-0 or 5-4.
Frustration's the name of the game for these two sides. They've generated enough goal-scoring opportunities to be higher on the Eastern Conference ladder. The problem is finishing. Goals may be at a premium today with these defenses, but while margins are small, stakes are high.
Ones to watch. Hartford has done some roster reconstruction.
Yeah, two new additions and a familiar face, Yunus Boudadi, back in blue and green. Back in the number 2. 61 appearances over 2 seasons. He's a right back, loves to get forward, can contribute on the attack. He's durable, led the Athletics in minutes played in 2022. And Yaya Toure, not the Ivorian for Man City, but the homegrown player from Colorado Rapids. Hartford's looking for a source of goals behind Galina and Beckford. He turned 20 on Wednesday. And somebody who's familiar with the area for Pittsburgh, Danny Griffin. 3 goals this season, 2 from the penalty spot, but he is the brain of this Pittsburgh attack, and he's an Iron Man. Never misses a match, rarely misses a minute.
Last Saturday night, Hartford played step for step with New Mexico United out in Albuquerque.
Out at altitude against the Western Conference leaders, had to be a little bit unlucky as with minutes left in the 90, Daniel Bruce gets a deflection. That's the difference. That's been the name of the game, though, for Hartford. Small margin, they just end up on the wrong side of it.
We look at the Eastern Conference table, and you see these two teams neck and neck. Pittsburgh tied with North Carolina for 8, and Hartford just a point ahead of Rhode Island FC, which shockingly played another tie last night. It is a gorgeous night for soccer. Starting lineups and kickoff coming up next. Welcome to USL Championship.
An injured knee might look pretty simple, but there's a whole person behind that injury. One who misses the feel of his jump shot and spending time with friends on the court. It's not enough just to heal. He needs to get back out there. At Trinity Health, we're here to help you reach your goals. We combine all the knowledge and expertise of a national health system with personalized healthcare that treats the individual behind the injury. Because we see all of you.
Achievement takes more than having a dream. It takes having the spirit to beat the odds. It takes the courage to pursue a passion, the heart to turn a house into a home, and the determination to turn an idea into an enterprise. I'm the Hartford Buck, and I see the human in human achievement.
With insurance from the Hartford, the Buck's got your back.
At Lux Bond & Green, we have been designing and crafting custom jewelry for decades. It's an art as much as a science, and really there's no room for error. It comes down to 100 little choices made by our own artists and experts who listen to you and create your perfect engagement ring by hand. Quality, value, and selection. Lux Bond & Green Jewelers throughout Connecticut and Massachusetts.
Hartford Athletic would like to thank the Mandel JCC of Greater Hartford, the official fitness center of Hartford Athletic. Visit mandeljcc.org to learn more. Last Fly is the leader in airport parking at Bradley International. Save 20% by pre-booking on lastfly.com. Last Fly is a proud supporter of Hartford Athletic. 83 degrees, perfect night. The lineups brought to you by Liberty Bank, and one of the newest Hartford Athletic players, Murph, in the starting lineup.
Yunus Boudadi, and if you've been watching Hartford for some time, it's a name with which you should be familiar. He had the club lead in appearances in 2022 and minutes played in that season. comes over from Indy 11 in a functional trade for Romario Williams to beef up the back line, and then coming off the bench, available off the bench, Yaya Toure. So some new faces, but other than that, it's been the players we've seen in recent weeks with a couple guys returning from international duty.
And some of it is shock as the keeper for the Riverhounds.
Jacob Randolph, all 6'4", 235 of them. I mean, he could line up for the Steelers with that billing. Otherwise, the 11's unchanged from a draw away to Charleston Battery, with which Coach Bob Lilly for Pittsburgh was pretty satisfied. So his 11, his shape, his formation remains unchanged. Just you got a guy making his club debut in goal. If Hartford can test him early, we'll really see who they have there between the sticks.
It's a Pittsburgh team that's winless in 5. They have been so streaky this season. 3 points on the line. Pittsburgh starts off in possession, and our match tonight presented by Work Zone Safety. The Connecticut DOT Work Zone Safety Committee reminds you to always reduce your speed as soon as you see orange signs, cones, or barrels on roadways. Together, we can reduce crashes and save lives if we obey the orange, which is what Orange City would like you to do. So it'll be interesting to see how this works out. Phil, for Hartford, kind of a different. Budati has not had much of a chance to practice with Athletic, but he is a dependable player. Played here in 21 and 22, and then played the last couple of seasons with Indy 11, starting 36 times in 39 matches.
Something of an Iron Man. His fitness won't be in question. The only question is going to be how well he communicates with the rest of that back line and Henry Ribeiro.
Mei and Galina takes down Edward Kizza. Both these teams with 11 goals on the season. That is tied for last in USL Championship. Of course, Pittsburgh missing Albert Dikwa, who signed a big money contract after winning the Golden Boot last year when the Riverhounds won the Players' Shield for the best regular season record, and they got stunned in the first round of the playoffs by Detroit City FC.
And both Coach Lilly and Coach Burke spoke with us this week, Joe, about how these teams' expected goals to goal difference is among the worst in the league. In fact, only Birmingham are worse than either of these two teams. They should score more. At some point, should be scoring, needs to be scoring. That's why we see some changes, at least for Hartford, in the attack.
That should be a yellow card. Brendan Burke up already, holding his head. Our referee is Joshua Encarnacion. In 5 matches, he's doled out 22 yellows and a red. And if there was ever a situation to hand out a yellow early, that was it.
Oh, we like to see the referee only get involved when he had to, but you mentioned it, Joe. He has a match in which he handed out 7 yellow cards, and sometimes it's the tone of the game that warrants that. We expect goals to be at a premium here, as you said, so you would like the referee's influence to only be when necessary.
Tristan Hodge plays it up ahead. Headed away by Pat Hogan.
Now, something we had discussed was whether Deshane Beckford and Marcus Epps, who would be on the left side, who would be on the right side. We had seen Epps on the left and Beckford on the right. Coach Burke alluded that may be a swap, and that is the case here. Epps over on the right side, Beckford on the left for a change.
It'll be a Pittsburgh throw-in by Junior Etu, 29-year-old from Paris. Here's our keys to the game, brought to you by Hoffman.
Yeah, and a lot of it, I mean, again, we expect the first goal to be more significant than really ever. Hartford's conceded first in 9 straight games. A couple things here for them. Coach Burke said a lot of that is defensive organization and possessing the ball. They've really found themselves on their heels early. 38% possession against New Mexico. And also for them, just final third aggression. They're getting the practice reps, trying to turn expected goals into goals, but a lot of times they don't have target men. Coach Burke said, treat it like hockey. Crash the net. They'll make crosses through the 6-yard box and nobody will be on the backside. For Pittsburgh, lean into the fact that Hartford conceded early, get early pressure, and stay compact. If this team keeps its defensive shape, they are very difficult to break down.
Good pickoff by Mei and Galina. And Galina without a shot last week. First time since the opening match against El Paso, which was a 1-0 Hartford win.
And he's a guy who was with Coach Burke in Colorado, scored 20 goals in 55 appearances. That has not been his rate. He's tied for the team high, but only has 3 goals so far this season.
Slipping and falling for Hartford was Deshane Beckford on what could have been a potential dangerous situation. And you know, Phil, we talked about getting balls on net and crashing the net. I would think that's especially true against the keeper in his first professional game.
Absolutely. The dream scenario for Pittsburgh is to let their goalkeeper settle into the game, maybe even find a ball getting him to him on a back pass or an early goal kick so he can at least feel the ball at his feet, get some of those nerves out of the system.
Pride of Wethersfield, Danny Murphy, or rather, sorry, not Danny
That's my
Murphy,
uncle.
Danny Griffin. I know it was your uncle. I wanted to give him a shout-out.
Oakwood soccer product is Griffin.
Dangerous opportunity in front. Knocked over the goal line by Edward Kizza.
Good ball in from Etu. He's been a great creator for them. Marauding forward from a left-back position. A guy who's just very fast, recovers well. Pittsburgh fills in well behind him. They are keen to get him forward more and keep playing balls like that into Kizza as we get an opportunity here.
Here's Galina in the box. Keeper's out. He scores! There is your early goal for Hartford, and 4 backflips by Mei and Galina. And in the 6th minute, Hartford takes the lead 1-0.
Joe Kirchberg told us during the week Hartford spent a lot of time on transition moments through the wings. Now, this wasn't a winger. This is the guy who plays up front for them, but the ball went wide, and you see Galina just keep it moving forward, keep it in front of him. Great composure. Bottom corner, tucks it away. Smooth finish. This is the first time since late March that Hartford has taken the lead in the first half hour.
Only the 4th time they've gotten the first goal this year. Number 4 for Mei and Galina, who got behind Pat Hogan and beat Jacob Randolph. So the first shot Randolph he sees ends up going past him.
Nothing he could have done about that,
No.
though. It would have taken a world-class save or a mistake from Galina, and he made no mistake there with the defender on his back.
Trinity Health of New England, proud to be the official medical provider and title partner of Hartford Athletic. Always committed to providing the best healthcare experience every day for every patient. Trinity Health of New England, we see all of you. Just the 12th goal of the year for Athletic. They say 6th-minute goal for Galina. So now Pittsburgh chasing an early goal, and they had only scored first 4 times this year. So it's been a strange year for Riverhounds.
Yeah, Joe, and there was a situation a couple weeks ago coming out of halftime against Indy 11, a great team who's in form as Robbie Mertz moves forward here.
Here's Mertz, sends it in front. And that's deflected out by Pittsburgh, so it'll be another goal kick for Enan Ribeiro.
Ribeiro collected that actually before it went across the line, but he'll take a moment to exhale. But I was saying against Indy 11, Pittsburgh were the better side through the first half. They were down 1-0. Opening minute of the second half, a very similar play. Long ball, defense just kind of lets an attacking player get behind them. They'll go down 2-0 right away. That's the exact situation Coach Lilly and Pittsburgh wanted to avoid, and conversely, Brendan Burke and Hartford wanted to exploit.
Number 2 on the right back is Yunus Budati. They announced his acquisition yesterday. As we said, played 2 years with Hartford and gives them so much experience on that back line. Was popular in his first tour of duty here.
Well, and that's why, right where we're seeing right there. He can win the aerial duels, come down with it, collect the ball, and distribute, although that pass wasn't exactly perfect.
And Galina gets dragged down by Junior Etu. So the referee, Joshua Encarcion, the assistant referees, Brian Marshall and Max Smith, and the 4th official, who I'm sure will have a nice quiet night at the table, is Kenneth Rojas, and Galina taking his time to get up. You can hear Bob Lilly in his 7th year at the helm of Riverhounds on the near touchline, on the west touchline, yelling to his troops.
Well, when we talked with him, Joe, earlier this week, he was preaching patience. This is a guy who's seen a lot. His team's made the playoffs every year he's been in charge. He's twice a coach of the year, reigning coach of the year. Production hasn't yet been there. He feels like they're close and felt like this match was very significant heading into a tough week. They have Hartford today. They get Lou City in the midweek, and then they travel to North Carolina. That's 2 road games against teams against whom they're going to be trying to get a playoff spot, and then perhaps the most incendiary offense in the league as Galina is taken down again, and Brendan Burke's appealing for The official to reach into his back pocket or front pocket and get one of those yellow cards out.
Kenneth Rojas, as we said, the fourth official, Kenneth Rojas, already hearing from Brendan Burke, who got a yellow last week in New Mexico. Beckford can't control. Langston Blackstock plays it upfield and knocked over the far touchline by Thomas Van Kazeel. 1-0 Hartford on the Galina goal in the 6th minute.
But for Pittsburgh, even though they had that defensive lapse on the long ball, it's not like they've been without opportunity. Junior Eto's putting in some crosses, asking a lot of questions of Hartford. And if you get enough of those in, one's going to find its way over the line. That's what Coach Lilly has been preaching to his team. The crosses are there. Finishing touch or last bit of accuracy, last bit of quality has been lacking. It'll come through eventually, though now on the wrong end of the scoreboard straight away. Not the start they wanted.
Please join us in thanking founding partner, the Hartford, for educating children about fire safety with their Junior Fire Marshal program. Visit juniorfiremarshal.com to learn more. Race for the ball. Here's Beckford. Tried to drop it back, and Pat Hogan, who got beaten by Galina for the first goal, knocked it away.
See, there, Suber was calling for Randolph, the goalkeeper, to come out and get it, and Randolph retreated. So that's what we're talking about with a goalkeeper making his first start. Just that little bit of disconnection between one of his and his defenders.
Well, the communication's got to be off because it's either been Eric Dick or Gabriel Parada between the woodwork for Riverhounds.
And remember, Eric Dick was a starter for much of the season. Parada gets 3 starts in the middle of the year. Dick gets the job back, and now it's Randolph again. So anytime you have a tumultuous turnover in goal, and it's not due to injury, rather due to either form or communication, whatever it might be, that doesn't bode well for a team that prides itself in good defensive soccer.
Here comes Langston Blackstock. Pittsburgh has only 5 players who have scored goals this year. Now Chapman with the steal. Here's the lead. And Galina. Michi. Blocked by Randolph. Rebound just goes wide. Oh, Deshane Beckford operating with an empty net. Drilled it wide. But that's a terrific stop by Jacob Randolph as Galina broke in uncontested.
In this situation, all you can do is make yourself big. You're 6'4", you've got it started. He came out well, made the goal small, but it must be said Deshane Beckford needs to put that away on the second opportunity. That's a side-footed pass into the net. Should be 2-0 to Hartford.
Great lead ball by Jay Chapman that time. And we'll hear from Jay at halftime, a conversation he had with myself and Mr. Scotland, Mark Donaldson, who's away for the next couple of games. Good to have Phil in his stead. Donaldson, very, very unhappy with you last year. You saw victories. He didn't see any here.
Well, home form's been here for Hartford.
Yes,
this is my first time in the booth. 3 wins already this season in 6 home games.
3-2-1. Here's Osamanu. Hartford really pressing. Van Kazeel pressing up on Griffin. Here's Suber. Now Danny Griffin. Played for the prestigious Oakwood Soccer Club. Wethersfield native, didn't play for Wethersfield High. He's done quite well for himself, former Providence College Friar. There's Joe Farrell. This has to be a big match for Farrell. Spent 5 years with Pittsburgh before signing with Hartford in the offseason.
A few former Riverhounds on Hartford. Van Kazeel as well.
In fact, Thomas Van Kazeel was first team All-USL with Pittsburgh in 2020. Throw in for Hartford. Pittsburgh will control in midfield. Second ball, Budati knocks down Etu. They say play on. Knocked out of bounds by the Riverhounds. 1-0 Hartford. If you're just joining us on the Mei and Galina goal in the 6th minute, his 4th of the year. We see Marcus Epps playing a more supporting role, fill in the back, in the midfield, I should say, for Hartford.
Yeah, and I think what they're going to try and do with Galina being the target man up front, you're going to see Beckford get high in support and maybe Epps kind of tuck away. These are guys who have, as we mentioned earlier, started games on opposite sides. Epps on the left, Beckford on the right, and they kind of organically drifted to the opposite sides of the field, or at least more centrally. Coach Burke beating them to the punch, lining them up here. A little bit of a change in where they're lining up, and so far so great. It really should be 2-0 to Hartford. I think Beckford still probably feels a little sore that he didn't put that ball away.
Free kick for Griffin, who's got 3 goals this year, 1 in the run of play, 2 on penalty kicks. As Pittsburgh pushes up.
Yeah, Griffin is the brain of this Pittsburgh attack.
Here's Osamanu, gets a step, wide to Etu, into the box, clear it out. First corner kick of the match. We'll go to Pittsburgh here in the 15th minute. Pittsburgh has scored once on a set piece this year. It was a header by Pat Hogan, who drifts up from the defense.
Yeah, he is easy to spot, Hogan, in the box. He's got an inch on everybody other than Joe Farrell.
To the right of Henan Hibero. Far post, headed, loose, free, save Hibero. Dangerous chance there for Riverhounds, and Hibero held his ground.
Yeah, that'll have a goalkeeper hold his breath. When the ball hits the floor inside of his 6-yard box, Hibero quick off the line, though, as soon as he saw it hit the deck, jumped on it, covered it up, got it out to safety, and Hartford now possesses the ball.
Randy's Worcester Street Pizza, the official pizza of Hartford Athletic. Stop by the stadium or visit their other Connecticut locations to enjoy some of the best pizza Connecticut has to offer. Here they come again. This is Beckford, watched by Blackstock, into the box, sends it front, goal! Mei and Galina, off the perfect setup by Beckford. It's a Mei brace and a 2-0 Hartford lead.
Joe, this is what they worked on all week. These opportunities in transition. You see Coach Brendan Burke very satisfied there. Beckford, his first touch wasn't exactly perfect, but he created some space. Very dangerous ball across the box. And who is there crashing on the back post but Mei and Galina? And that's it. Crash the back of the net. Put your foot out, slide. Easiest finish he'll have this season. And here he is with a brace. And, man, wasn't too far from a hat trick if not for a great save by Jacob Randolph.
2-0 Athletic in front. That's a team that scored 6 first-half goals all season. And now Hartford with a 2-0 advantage, and we've only played 17 minutes.
What were you saying a moment ago about Hartford Athletics' performance being a little bit better when it's this voice next to you instead of the Scotsman?
Boy,
I'm not one for analytics. I like expected goals.
He's going to find out when he wakes up in the morning overseas in Germany. So 2-0 Hartford on top, and Pittsburgh chasing 2. I want to welcome all of our viewers in Sportsnet Pittsburgh. Welcome to our broadcast, along with our usual people watching in Connecticut on MyTV9 and WTNH.com, and our nationwide audience on ESPN+.
Hartford is playing very quickly out of the back, causing a lot of problems for Pittsburgh's defense, though if there is any silver lining to be found, it's on this left side going up the field quickly. We saw a very good tackle there by Beverly Makangila, who's been in a nice run of form. But Junior Eto has had some opportunities, created some chances or half chances for Pittsburgh. I don't think the Riverhounds are quite out of this, at least until Hartford finds an answer for number 8.
Nice tackle on, nice shoulder on Jackson Walty then by Makangila. Here's Hogan heading it towards the east touchline. Suber plays it upfield for Robbie Mertz. And they're going to call Tristan Hodge with the foul. Tristan back last week after playing internationally for Trinidad and Tobago.
He was great. I mean, they beat the Bahamas 7-1, but he played 90 minutes in that match, had a pair of assists, drew a penalty kick. He was everywhere for them, so he's in a nice run of form and right back into his left back position and what we think is going to be the back 4 for Hartford going forward.
Deshane Beckford played well for the Reggae boys. Emmanuel Samadia, who is not in uniform tonight, played well. Emmanuel back home with his family, getting a chance to visit with his new son, so congratulations to him. Here's Etu. 1v1 with Budati. Moves it inside. Mei and Galina
Smooth.
there to clear it away, and Marcus Epps plays it upfield. Errant pass by Jay Chapman, so it'll be a deep throw-in for the Riverhounds.
But you see, when Hartford wins possession in their third, Galina is just foot to the floor, moving forward, looking for a long ball. And so far, so great. He's had some terrific goal-scoring opportunities, found the net twice. He is very keen for a hat trick.
Pittsburgh trying to link some passes. Walty to Blackstock.
My eyes off the ball go to Danny Griffin every time Pittsburgh gets a spell of possession like this. He is the spoke in this wheel.
Suber plays it up ahead. Sent in. Headed out of danger. Hodge with pressure. Goes over the far touchline. It'll be a Pittsburgh throw-in. Riverhounds have had a streaky season. They started the year 0-2-3. Then they scored their 3 wins, and they started the season 0-3-2. They got 3 wins, and now they're 0-2-3 in their last 5. It's been a struggle.
It's a team that won the Players' Shield last year, having the most points. You mentioned the disappointing early playoff exit. That's the situation in playoffs. I mean, you saw Phoenix Rising barely get in and go on to win the league. But Pittsburgh's already matched their loss total from last season, and unless they have a pair of goals in them to mount a comeback here, we're only in the 21st minute, they're going to exceed their loss total by the end of June.
Hartford Athletic would like to thank Nuova Pasta for supporting our Goals for Meals program. For every Hartford goal scored this year, Nuova Pasta will donate meals to help fight against food insecurity in our community. Mei and Galina trying to feed a whole community himself tonight.
Yeah, I'll be curious. He is putting in some measure of work rate. It is a very nice night here in Hartford, Joe. I think you mentioned 80 degrees at kickoff, but not a lot of attacking options off the bench, just with guys out, as you mentioned, Samadia, Jing on a team-induced suspension, players on loan, outbound. It's just, he's going to be asked to play a lot of minutes, is Galina, but his work rate has been exceptional thus far.
Right, yeah, Torrey, I'm sure we'll see some time tonight. The newly acquired 20-year-old who had experience with Brendan Burke with switchbacks. Errant throw-in, played upfield. Blackstock, nice spinning move. Griffin, one touch. Here's Sterling. Now Mertz on the right. Mertz 1v1, and Tristan Hodge said not no, and there's an injury. Looked like he got hit in the face, and then Ribeiro came out right away. Tristan Hodge is down, and the trainer, athletic trainer Mike Diaz, we're going to see if he's called out there to attend to Tristan, who has had a very good year for Hartford. He's only been subbed out once in 11 games. Had the terrific corner kick to set up Joe Farrell for the goal against Rhode Island.
Yeah, Ribeiro came out claiming a hit to the face. I think the referee got this one right.
Yeah, I think it was
definitely held him back with his arm. It was high. It didn't look like it hit the face.
And if it did, it was incidental contact.
Incidental. So I think the referee, Joshua Encarnacion, did the right thing there. Keep the card in his pocket. No need to book Mertz this early. Have the conversation, and we move on.
Joshua Encarnacion was the official last year when we had a 4-hour lightning delay and an eventual postponement against Rio Grande Valley as Pat Hogan is called for the foul as he takes down Jay Chapman. So it'll be Hartford on a direct from about 15 yards into their half of the field as you see Chapman. Jay might have sold that a little.
Yeah, no thought to put this one in the box, although Chapman is terrific in these set-piece situations.
You'll hear him talk about that at halftime. Beckford's had a good work rate tonight.
Yes, he has.
And Galina gets converged now. It looks like bumblebees around him. There's 5 players around him.
7v1. If he could have found a way to get that ball out, it would have been trouble for Pittsburgh.
And Galina. You know, ever since Beverly went to that different hairstyle, he's played extremely well. I joked with Brendan Burke before the Rhode Island game, did you advise him to do that? And he says, as long as he's playing well, he can do whatever he wants.
You also talked to Burke this week about a playoff beard he
Well,
had
he started
going
to grow his
as of Thursday, and gone clean shaven on the bench today.
Yeah, I'm a little disappointed.
As am I.
I thought he was trying to emulate me. Apparently that wasn't the case.
It was a similar pattern.
Just different colors. Knocked over the near touchline by Ilal Usamanu. So it'll be a Hartford throw-in, already leading 2-0 as we approach the 25th minute. Yunus Budati in his Hartford return.
And this is where, if you're Hartford, you'd love to start to take control of this game, control possession here. You've been great with these vertical runs out of the back, fast counterattacks. Now that you have the ball in Pittsburgh's half, you don't want to give up one of those with a misguided pass or a turnover in a dangerous area. Be smart, be precise, be clinical. It's a hard team to break down, but the onus is on them to figure this out. You've taken a 2-goal lead.
Hodge plays it up ahead for Beckford, too far. Suber lets it run. It goes over the goal line.
Almost got there.
Here's a shot. But I think that was out originally, right? Yeah.
It was. It was out of play.
Originally.
The linesman was on it. We couldn't hear the whistle up here, but Beckford does the right thing. You stay on it. That wasn't that far, though, from him beating that defender and having a really dangerous goal-scoring opportunity.
Hartford Athletic would like to thank Lux Bond and Green Jewelers since 1896, celebrating life's special moments. Special moments in the 6th and 17th minutes for Mei and Galina. He's got the early brace for Hartford. Last time Hartford had a brace last year against RGV, it was Prince Sadie. Now with Rhode Island, which shockingly played another tie last night. It's all they do is tie. Should be the Rhode Island Cravats. Hodge taken down by Mertz. That's whistled.
And, Joe, I got to give you credit. Route 6 Derby has caught on. Listening to some of the broadcasts around the league referencing the Hartford Athletic Rhode Island match, and people were saying it reflexively. So it has legs.
I'm glad something I think Murph is taken seriously by some people. Ball goes off of Shane Beckford. It'll be a Pittsburgh throw-in. The Riverhounds come in 3-5-5, 1-3-3 away from beautiful Highmark Stadium, one of the league's best facilities.
Oh, beautiful venue they have there. And great support as well.
Yep. Well, Pittsburgh sports fans are pretty dogged, be it the Buccos or the Steelers or the Pittsburgh Penguins.
Black and yellow. It's the only color scheme you need.
I love
that.
that.
Steel City.
I love that it's the city. It's the city colors.
Every sport.
Pittsburgh trying to find a way to dent this Hartford defense. Shots thus far 4-2 in favor of Hartford. Shots on target 3-0 for the home team. Usamano plays it up ahead. Kiza comes back. Now Etu.
Good communication there between Budati and Mei and Galina to slow down Etu in that run by Kiza.
Here's Usamano. Back in the middle to Sean Suber. Then Galina presses him. Played up ahead to Blackstock. Langston Blackstock into the box to, or short of the box to Mertz.
Etu wants it out wide.
Usamano gives it to him. He's open. Junior Etu sends it through the face of the goal. Beckford comes back to hop, and not before Blackstock can keep possession for the black and gold Pittsburgh Riverhounds.
If he gets enough opportunities like that, Pittsburgh's going to put one in the back of the net.
Sails that one wide. Etu will get there first. Drops it back. Usamanu in the middle. Jackson Walty, who had missed a lot of time, sat for 2 months. 2-0 Hartford. Pittsburgh still without a shot on target. Nice slide tag it. Tackled by Yunus Budati, the 28-year-old from Belgium.
If we ever need translation work done, Boudadi's a good guy to call up.
Yeah,
Speaking
4 languages.
Arabic, French, Dutch, and English.
Etu takes his time on the throw-in. Harford doing a good job not letting Pittsburgh penetrate.
Yeah, stay organized, and if they can create a turnover, watch Mei and Galina on a 9 route right at Jacob Randolph to try and get a third. He is looking to spring forward every time there's even a hint of a turnover.
Pittsburgh maintains possession, and Epps, who's done a much better job coming back and helping defensively in recent weeks. You know, Marcus had that 2-week stretch where he came off the bench, Phil. He's played extremely well after that. And Galina almost made the turn, but getting there first is Suber. He and Pat Hogan played together at UNC Charlotte. Now Hogan.
Well, and he and Brendan Burke go back to the Bethlehem Steel days as well, so he knows what coach asks for. It's offside.
And Galina would have been offside. As Pittsburgh tries to link up, they're working the ball a lot to the left channel to Junior Etu.
He's getting a lot of touches and creating some chances with them as well.
Griffin plays possession. Nice story by Tom Amore in the Current today about Danny. He said he will have lots of fans in the stands today. Not a sellout tonight, but a good crowd. This is a busy weekend. Friday night, we hear it's going to be a great crowd for the Rowdies, who play Lou City this evening in a big game.
Yeah, Rowdies have had a lot of travel, and I'm hearing they're going to bring some Tampa weather with them up next Friday. Temperature 95 degrees, the forecast, as you and I are talking here.
Blackstock plays it out. Sent towards the box. Runs free. Epps plays it up ahead to Galina.
Good
Here's
turn.
Amici on the turn. They are converging on him, and it goes out. Tonight's WTNH Youth Soccer Teams of the Match are from Oxford Soccer League. Now, how long have you been in the media?
20 years.
And you believe 7-day forecasts?
My dad's a weatherman.
Oh, is he really?
So I believe it with 30% accuracy.
I stepped in there. Well, he'd get paid
listen,
like a trillionaire in baseball if he hit 30. If he hit 300.
My dad's a weatherman. My last name's Murphy. Between that and Murphy's Law, every family barbecue of my life has been rained out.
Henan Ribeiro has not seen much action tonight. Pittsburgh with 1 shot on target in the first 32 minutes. I did not know your dad was where's he a weatherman?
Oh, he was for the military, the Air Force.
Oh, all right. So, well, that's
not a
gonna
weatherman.
say-
Meteorologist.
I'm not going to say what I was going to say because I have a lot of friends who are TV and radio weathermen in the Hartford market. Discretion was the better part of valor there.
See if we can get Jim Cantori on for a guest at some point in this broadcast.
Thomas von Keziel, number 23, has moved up to the midfield. Of course, he had those 2 assists in the win against Monterey Bay. There's a sloppy pass. Here's Etu. Cuts in front of Boudadi.
Step to him.
Junior Etu sends it across. Dummied back. Walty shot. Hit the bar. He caught wood.
Joe, that was Sterling who hit that from
Sterling.
the top of the
Yep.
18. It's rare to see the ball hit off one post and go out of bounds on the other. That was that much on the inside of the crossbar. Great layoff by Robbie Mertz, and that is millimeters away, and that has been the situation for Pittsburgh. I mean, Kizza hit the post twice against Tulsa in that game, and Sterling, a guy who's a Tottenham Hotspur Academy player, appeared for them in an FA Cup and a Champions League match. Pittsburgh truly millimeters away from getting one back and it being game on here in Hartford.
Since the second goal, Pittsburgh has kind of dominated play. Pittsburgh looking for a foul in the box, but Henan Ribeiro came out to scoop it up off the turf.
Yeah, Barrera was beaten there. That was a great layoff from Mertz. And Sterling can't be disappointed in the shot. That's as close as you can get without scoring.
Sorry, we're 7th consecutive start for Renan Ribeiro, who was the first big off-season signing by Athletic as they look to turn the franchise around. It'll be a throw-in on the far side for Hartford in the familiar blue and green kits, courtesy of Hummel. Foul on the far side as Ronquezil gets sent sprawling.
You know, Joe, it must be said, as we were talking about this match, and both these teams, 11 goals on the season, tied for fewest in USL, you would have thought 0-0 and a tough watch was a real possibility. This has been an exciting first 35 minutes.
Very entertaining.
And you can make an argument this should be 3-1. I mean, these teams are playing really great up top, and there's a lot left to be decided here. Hartford are up 2-0, but Pittsburgh are creating chances.
Here's Epps. Randolph comes out and lets it roll over. Good play by the first-time goalkeeper, Jacob Randolph, the rookie who last year played at UNC Wilmington, had 7 shutouts in 15 appearances.
And that's what Hartford needs to do, make him make decisions. Put those balls in those questionable areas where a goalkeeper has to decide whether or not to come out. He seemed to even question what he should do there. Should he pick it up? Should he play with his feet? The end line ended up making the decision for him, but Hartford testing the young keeper there. It's wise. Balls like that into the channels are going to create some problems.
What do you make of what you've seen from Younes Boudadi so far tonight?
He's been really good in aerial duels. Trying to figure out space against Junior Eto has been a problem, but I think that's going to be one of these games within the game as we play the final 55 minutes here. How does Boudadi handle Eto going forward? He's large. I mean, he's been what we expected from him and what we knew from him when he played 60 times for this club in 2021 and 2022. So you wouldn't know it's his first time with the club. You wouldn't know he flew up here on Thursday or Friday, whenever it was.
Shots are 4 apiece. Shots on target 3-1 in favor of Athletic, who have the 2-0 lead. Mei and Galina gets away, and Hodge sends it up ahead. Beckford tried to hit Chapman, but Mertz was there on the disconnect. Sample just gives it away. Joe Farrell heads it to Mei and Galina. Harford controlling in the midfield.
Pittsburgh pressing high there when Hartford gets a turnover in their own defensive third.
Pittsburgh controlling the possession, 59-41, but Hartford has had the much better of the scoring opportunities.
Well, I think Pittsburgh's also realized that if they turn the ball over, Hartford gets possession in its own third. Hartford's looking to play quickly, so if they don't press high, you may give an opportunity to play a long ball up to an Epps or an Galina, which has proven to be very dangerous as we get another long ball here.
Usamano gets a head on it as Epps was flashing on the right. Along with Phil Murphy sitting in for Mark Donaldson, I'm Joe D'Ambrosio. John Forster, our producer tonight. Bobby Kaplan, our director, and Sir Thomas of Stanwix handling replays. 2-0 Hartford on top on the 2 goals by Mei and Galina. And if you're saying to yourself, when was the last Hartford hat trick? October 1st, 2022, Andre Lewis put 3 in the back of the net against Charleston.
With Boudadi in the squad. One of his final games in a Hartford shirt before today.
Younes Boudadi, who was just acquired on loan prior to the game, or yesterday I should say it was announced. Jordan Scarlett, captain. Marlon Hairston, who has missed the last couple games, is in uniform tonight. Danny Barrera also available for selection.
Yeah, I think we do have a real opportunity to see Barrera with how well he possesses the ball in the middle of the field, with Hartford having a lead. And first yellow card there, Joe.
Junior Eto booked for the 3rd time this season. Happens in the 39th minute. For Pittsburgh as a squad, that is only their 28th yellow card of the year. They're one of the teams that have the fewest yellow cards in USL. North Carolina's only been booked 23 times this year. Harford, Hodge on the left. Prest gets it back to Joe Farrell. And Ribeiro comes over the 18 to redirect the offense to Scarlett. Harford had been moving the ball pretty quickly. Pittsburgh has picked up the pressure a little bit. Long ball for Epps. Wins the aerial duel with Osamanu, but it goes out of bounds off Marcus. So it's a throw in for Etu. Stolen by Galina. Boy, his play night and day from a year ago. Harford with space. Here's Chapman. Up the right side, he's got runners. Gives to Epps, passed it behind him.
Yeah, Walty was good to work back there and intercept that, but I know Chapman is going to wish he had that ball back to play again. Hartford had numbers. You want to see a dangerous pass in the box. That pass just lacked a little pace, and Pittsburgh was able to get the trouble out of the pitcher.
So Etu will throw it in. He waits for Ilal Osamanu to lace up his cleat. This series has been all Pittsburgh. 10 wins, 1 for Hartford, 2 draws. Pittsburgh has won 4 straight and is unbeaten in their last 8 with the blue and green. Now Walty in the middle, plays it back to Suber. Now Hogan, pressured by Galina. He's playing with a lot of energy tonight. Forces Hogan back. And he directs it back to the rookie keeper, Jacob Randolph.
Yeah, it's been impressive to see the work rate of Galina, the work rate of Beckford, especially after Beckford's travels for World Cup qualifiers. I mean, you can tell these guys are playing with a measure of pride and effort, even though the results hadn't gone their way. They do feel they are better than the record would suggest, which you can say for Pittsburgh as well, but I think Hartford has to be very happy with their 2 men up top.
Hartford Athletic would like to thank our founding partner, Travelers. Thanks to Travelers, presenting partner of our community ticket program. Children from underserved communities throughout Greater Hartford are able to come to the matches free of charge. 2-0 Hartford on 2 goals by Michi and Galina. Beckford with a beautiful setup on the second one. The goals came 11 minutes apart. And again, just the 4th time that Hartford has scored first this season. And when they score first, they are 3-0-0.
That's a huge stat. I mean, you look at the first time in 9 games they haven't conceded first. And then not just score first, but score early. First time since the Miami match here that they scored first, but that took until the 45th minute.
Hartford not giving Edward Kiza any space. Now Galina once again draws a crowd. Chapman plays it up ahead. Here's Van Kizil against Hogan, who does a nice job of knocking it away, and then they kick it off Van Kizil for a Pittsburgh throw-in.
That's a holding midfielder for Hartford in the opposite corner flag, trying to win a corner, ends up giving up a throw-in, but Van Kizil covering a lot of ground, the former Riverhound himself.
Hartford playing free and easy, which obviously is easy when you're 2 goals to the good.
But again, this game can change quickly. We saw Pittsburgh hit the inside of the post, and how different would the temperature be heading into halftime if it were 2-1 with the chances Pittsburgh's creating? This game is not done and dusted, far from it.
Be a lot harder, my friend, as the ball goes behind the Hartford bench, and of course, Etu has to go behind to get it. And they tell Osamanu, you got to move back. You can't go up to midfield to throw the ball in, despite his best efforts.
Very significant 5 minutes here.
Yes.
Whoever can grab momentum, or in Hartford's case, keep momentum heading into halftime, will serve them very well in the second half of a game that, frankly, could end up deciding a playoff spot in the East.
One thing Hartford's doing tonight, too, Phil, is they're winning all the 50-50 balls.
And Buildati is a source of a lot of those, and that's part of the reason they brought him in. Very, very good in aerial duels, as is Joe Farrell.
Far side, it's Hodge. Knocks it off a Riverhounds player over the east touchline, so it'll be a Hartford throw-in. Shots are even at 4-4. Shots on target 3-1. Of course, One of the Pittsburgh shots that's not recorded as being on target hit the crossbar as Galina gets taken down in the middle of the field, and Mei writhing on the ground. See if we can get a replay on that. Here it is.
Galina's hand to the ear. Still can't quite see the contact between he and Osamanu. Could be a slight clash of heads with one player running forward, the other running backwards. Either way, Galina up, and play continues.
I would not think we'd have a lot of stoppage time. Once again, they try to go to the far side to Etu and Marcus Epps.
I just saw the board flash as a 2. If that's any indication from the fourth official, we'll get official word in a second.
It seemed to make sense. The only real stoppage has been after the 2 goals.
Yeah, brief stoppage and conversation after fouls and minor injury, but been a very fluid game thus far. Very entertaining watch.
It is. Brignall Vineyard stoppage time. There's 2 minutes of stoppage time. Now Griffin, who's been quiet, in the middle for Mertz, taking off his cleat. Pittsburgh maintains possession, looking to cut the Hartford 2-0 lead. Chipped in, far post, harmlessly. Hartford goal kick.
And Barrera will take his time here.
Brendan Burke orchestrating from in front of the Hartford bench. As you look at Henan Ribeiro, he's conceded 10 goals on the year coming in. He has had 24 saves.
Anytime you're on a Brazil youth national team, as a goalkeeper, it says a lot about your capability. It says a lot about your ability to play with your feet out of the back. It's been an asset for Hartford.
Nice ball to Hodge, and he goes to Ribeiro. No, you take it. Lights have just come on here. Looked like Beckford was
lost that.
Not expecting. He might have lost that in the sun. And carelessly dribbled over the east touchline by Pittsburgh. And Robbie Mertz just kind of kicks it away from the throw-in, which is not helping the Pittsburgh cause at all. The supporters on the far side in fine form as always. That's going to go as a foul on Hartford.
And a booking.
Oh, they give Van Kezili yellow here in the 46th minute.
He was booked in the 2nd minute against New Mexico, so he had to play a lot of time with a card before ultimately he was subbed off for Mei and Galina late in that game. Here getting one into halftime is something to think about, that as a holding midfielder you would rather not in the second 45.
4th yellow against the Frenchman, who played 77 minutes against New Mexico. It was the first time all year that he's been subbed out of a match. So this is a potentially dangerous situation for Pittsburgh.
Last action of the half in all likelihood.
Long ball towards the goal, and Ribeiro
well held.
Elevates, and that is the last play of the opening 45. We are at halftime, and it's been a strong first half for Hartford, particularly the 23-year-old from the Congo, Mei and Galina, in the 6th and 17th minutes, has given Hartford a 2-0 lead over Pittsburgh. Phil and I will come back with our halftime activities next here on ESPN Plus, MyTV9, WTNH.com, and Sportsnet Pittsburgh.
Our students are looking to stand out, not blend in, which is a good thing considering the 8-to-1 student-to-faculty ratio. USJ's academic experience is built on dynamic learning opportunities that extend into labs, internships, and collaboration with faculty, and are designed to both challenge and support students in their professional development. So if you're looking for an education that will help you make your mark in the world, visit usj.edu.
If anyone thinks cancer is going to define you, they've got another thing coming. We know you are more than someone healing their heart. At Trinity Health, we know the importance of seeing the person behind the patient, the fear, the joy, the journey. bringing you the expert medical teams and state-of-the-art technological advancements of a national health system, along with the personalized care that helps you feel better. Because we see
The
all of
text
you.
I got from Donaldson.
Achievement takes more than
The
having a
Scotsman
dream.
doesn't sleep
It takes
when
having
Hartford
the
is playing.
spirit to beat
And of
the
course,
odds.
they're fucking winning.
It takes the courage to pursue a passion, the heart to turn a house into a home, and the determination to turn an idea into an enterprise. I'm the Hartford Buck, and I see the human in human
I'll just tee
achievement.
you up on
With
this.
insurance from the Hartford, the Bucks got your back.
Embrace the laid-back charm of island life while sinking your toes in the sand and discovering real, authentic Florida in the Bradenton area. Unspoiled beauty and pristine beaches, a vibrant waterfront downtown energized by local arts and culture, fresh Floridian cuisine with a flourish of rich history, and friendly locals ready to welcome you to this preserved paradise on Florida's Gulf Coast. Plan your visit today at BradentonGulfIslands.com.
Halftime in Hartford, and Phil, a good start for Hartford.
Great start. Dream start for this side. 6-minute. Mei and Galina with the defender on his back. Tucks it into the side netting. Then we get some gymnastics and more spring in his step for Galina going forward on a counter. Great save by Jacob Randolph in his first start. And then Deshane Beckford pushed it wide. Beckford, though, redeems himself with this assist across the box. Galina just has to shepherd it over the line. 2-0, 17 minutes in. Joe, that's our score.
So Galina does the hat trick, does the somersaults. You look at the stats. Possession, kind of meaningless, I would say, just because the Hartford's had the better scoring chances. We'll come back with news and notes and our conversation with Jay Chapman next. 2-0, Hartford leads Pittsburgh at the half.
Is it somebody's birthday? Dad, come watch us hit this ugly piñata. Dad!
When Hornets show up, so do we. Terminix it.
They're hungry for the women's game. They want to see women's soccer. They want to play women's soccer, and that's what we're building at the USL.
You can see it in my eyes, only want the best. And we rebounding every night, won't settle for less. Got me looking to the sky, got me feeling blessed. Got this fire burning up inside of my chest. Burning up inside of my chest. Got this fire burning up inside of my chest.
Pain doesn't care who you are or why you hurt, but pain can be mastered if you know the way. Fight back with Tiger Balm's legendary herbal power. Trusted for over 100 years, our proven blend of camphor, menthol, and essential oils tames pain with the strength and speed of the tiger, so that you can rise above pain and get back to living. This is the way of the tiger.
Pass right in front, it's tapped home. Keziah Sterling. Off the giveaway, Harris. And Lou City leads 3-1.
When mosquitoes show up, so do we. Terminix it.
An injured knee might look pretty simple, but there's a whole person behind that injury. One who misses the feel of his jump shot and spending time with friends on the court. It's not enough just to heal. He needs to get back out there. At Trinity Health, we're here to help you reach your goals. We combine all the knowledge and expertise of a national health system with personalized health care that treats the individual behind the injury. Because we see all of you.
USL News and Notes, more exposure for the league thanks to Univision. Indy 11 Sean McCauley, the May Coach of the Month. Hartford well represented at the World Cup qualifiers. The Canadian national, Jay Chapman, visited with Mark Donaldson and I a couple of weeks ago.
So, Jay, when Harford reached out to you and wanted you to come play here, how much research did you do on the franchise, on the people who were here, that kind of thing, the area?
Honestly, it wasn't a ton. I mean, I knew last year was my first year in USL, so I didn't have a kind of wide range on Hartford. I knew that they weren't doing well last year, but I didn't know too much. I remember the only time I had actually been to Hartford was when I was on Inter Miami, and we actually came to play Toronto FC when they were stationed here during COVID. So that's all I really knew about it. But Brendan gave me a call, and he was involved in bringing me to Colorado after a difficult kind of year in my career, just kind of the hiccup, to be honest. And so I had a lot of respect for him for getting the deal done in Colorado, and then as it so happened, he got the job with Houston right as soon as I showed up there. So,
take it personally.
Yeah, no, I didn't, but it was kind of, it was crazy. So, as soon as he came here, I was like, oh, here's an opportunity to actually work together. I've played all over kind of North America and even in Europe for a little bit. And I was kind of looking to kind of come closer to home. I mean, it's only about a 7-hour drive to Toronto from here.
Yeah.
And just the project, I believed in.
You know what happens when you get a nice, easy softball first question, don't you?
You usually come with a harder one, right?
Okay. I don't want you to answer verbally this question, but I need to see your face when I give you a certain word.
Okay.
You might tell that my accent's Scottish.
Yeah.
Ready for this?
Okay.
Dundee.
Yeah. That's about all I can say about that one.
As a Scotsman, I would have exactly the same facial expression if someone said Dundee to me.
Yeah.
Because it's called the City of Discovery, and when you go there, you discover it's maybe not the best city in the world.
Yeah.
And the reason I'm going to bring this up is because you brought up Giovinco and set plays.
Yeah.
I think you're one of the best, if not the best, set play players in this league. Charlie Adam is someone who played for Liverpool, played for Stoke.
Yeah.
Sir Alex Ferguson said his corners alone are worth 10 million.
Yeah.
How much extra work do you do on set plays? Because your free kicks, your corners, everything like that. It's now an art to the extent that a lot of Premier League teams in England have set play coaches.
Yeah. I mean, I think definitely the day before games, I probably take about 3 to 5, just depending on how the body's feeling. After, and then probably take 3 to 5 free kicks as well. So that's just kind of something I've done throughout my career. On certain teams, I haven't been on set pieces, but I've always been just enjoyed taking them and learning the art of free kicks and the kind of technique on how to dip it and get it in there. So it's definitely something I definitely still work on, but it's something that I've always just kind of done throughout my career.
Chapman, brilliant ball, and that'll lead to the first goal.
What advice would you give youngsters who want to take free kicks but perhaps haven't been taught or haven't been shown? What would you say to them if you want them to be better?
I think the best form of learning how to play football is watching and then going and doing. So, I mean, my favorite player growing up was David Beckham, so I don't take them obviously as good as he does, but similar technique. And so I kind of, when I was young, I would try and maybe just orientate my body and just try and see the way he moves. And that's how I kind of learned. And then it was going out on the pitch and doing it. I mean, the first few times that you are trying to replicate a free kick, it's not going to be like that. Nope. Then you're going to keep doing, and you're going to notice on where to hit the ball and the difference of weight distribution on if you're trying to dip it, if you're trying to hit it higher. So that's stuff that you just got to learn by doing it. So I think the best practice is just going out there and high-level coaching as well.
I know he's going to crush me for this one.
Yeah. Here we go.
I know not every kid in Canada plays hockey. Did you?
So I never played competitive hockey, but all of my friends go.
There's people who say the Maple Leafs haven't for 20 years.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Listen, I love the Leafs, but I mean, we lose to the Bruins for 3 times. So, like, again, until we kind of don't do that anymore, yeah, you can say that. But yeah, no, I mean, I would play pond hockey on like snow days and stuff. And that's actually some of my best childhood like memories. Is like as soon as like my mom would just let me know that the buses were canceled. I would be like, my buddy had a rink in his backyard, so I would go. But so I love that. But I never played competitive. It was always like from 4 years old. It was always like soccer for me. So.
If anyone thinks cancer is going to define you, they've got another thing coming. We know you are more than someone healing their heart. At Trinity Health, we know the importance of seeing the person behind the patient, the fear, the joy, the journey. Bringing you the expert medical teams and state-of-the-art technological advancements of a national health system, along with the personalized care that helps you feel better. Because we see all of you.
Achievement takes more than having a dream. It takes having the spirit to beat the odds. It takes the courage to pursue a passion, the heart to turn a house into a home, and the determination to turn an idea into an enterprise. I'm the Hartford Buck, and I see the human in human achievement.
With insurance from the Hartford, the Buck's got your back.
Our students are looking to stand out, not blend in, which is a good thing considering the 8-to-1 student-to-faculty ratio. USJ's academic experience is built on dynamic learning opportunities that extend into labs, internships, and collaboration with faculty, and are designed to both challenge and support students in their professional development. So if you're looking for an education that will help you make your mark in the world, visit usj.edu.
LDI Connect is a proud partner of Hartford Athletic. With over 20 years of experience, LDI Connect is a leading independent provider of office technology solutions. Visit myldi.com for more information. First time this year, Hartford has scored 2 goals in the first half. Jody Ambrosio, Phil Murphy, and for Mark Donaldson, who we have heard from in Germany. He has texted both Phil and I with the exact same message that we will not be reading on the air. We've got a substitute for Pittsburgh as Emmanuel Johnson, who's only played 5 matches this year, will come on for Edward Kizza. What do you make of that?
Well, that's something that's going to get Mark Donaldson's blood boiling because he played for Hibs in Scotland, who was the fierce rival of Donaldson's Hearts, his favorite club. But Johnson's an electric player. Only 13 minutes since the middle of April. They need more finishing prowess, and Bob Lilly said that Edward Kizza hasn't yet found, as a pro, the goal-scoring chops that he had at Pitt. And Joe, we have another substitution as well.
Bernardo Forbes for Robbie Mertz.
The league's all-time leader in assists and now minutes played as well. He crossed that threshold this season.
And tonight,
21,000 minutes played in his USL career.
And tonight, Murph, is his 276th match.
Wow.
That's one behind Jan Ekra for the most in USL Championship history.
So you have somebody in Johnson who has the background playing in the Barcelona Academy here in the U.S. and certainly the physical ability to make some crazy things happen. And then Bernardo Forbes, I think we'd be remiss if we didn't point out he's in his career twilight, 36 years old, but still has the savvy, looking for his first point of the season.
Right.
No goals or assists thus far. Tonight, as good a night as any to snap that skid.
So no changes in the 11 for Hartford. It's still Mei and Galina, Beckford, Epps, Chapman, Von Kazil, Macandila, Hodge, Scarlett, Farrell, Budati, and Henan Hiberto, who had to stop one shot in the first half.
It does surprise me a little bit that we saw Robbie Mertz leave. I mean, Junior Etu's been doing a lot of things to ask a lot of questions of Hartford up the left side. Robbie Mertz had some moments moving forward, putting the defense for Hartford under pressure. For him to leave makes life a little bit easier, I think, for Tristan Hodge at left back.
Joe Farrell got shouldered by former teammate Keziah Sterling.
And Henry Navarro had to be mindful of the edge of that 18-yard box coming out to get that.
Also, Bradley Sample, number 15, in the match for Pittsburgh. So, 3 subs in the 45th minute. I would think, Phil, the Pittsburgh locker room was not a fun place to be at the half.
No, I wouldn't think so, and it's mostly because of that opening quarter of an hour in which Hartford had 3 great goal-scoring opportunities and Galina converting 2.
Hartford on the attack. Drop it back to Yunus Boudadi. 1 touch to Boudadi. Chip far post. Hartford corner kick, their first of the match here in the 47th minute.
And Jay Chapman goes over to take it, the man with whom you and Mark spoke earlier this season at halftime. Idolized David Beckham growing up. Well, it looks like Tristan Hodge is going to take it.
So Sample comes in for Jackson Walty. Sample, a much more offensive player. He's been playing well, according to his head coach, Bob Lilly.
Yeah, when we asked Lilly about guys who could contribute in the second half of the season, that was the first name that came up.
And Galina will get there in front of Griffin. Kind of cat-mouse game to keep possession, now double-teamed. And Beachy carries it over the far touchline.
I'm a little surprised about the triple substitution for Pittsburgh. It seemed like they were gaining some momentum around that 30-35 minute mark. And again, Keziah Sterling hitting the inside of the post. So much so the inside, it went out of bounds on the opposite side of the goal. I mean, really caromed right along the goal line.
As you said, you rarely ever see that.
You could kick the ball 1,000 times, you wouldn't see that happen.
Well, I could kick the ball 1,000 times, we'd never get to the goal. Hartford on the attack. Chapman plays it to Epps with those bright green, lime green, highlighter green cleats. Chapman can't dribble through 3 Riverhounds. Farrell wins the aerial duel. Van Keziel loses to Sterling and get a foul on Hartford.
Yeah, Van Keziel colliding there with Sample, who just subbed on. Hartford didn't love the call, but it was short protest.
Just the 5th foul for Hartford in the first half. They played a very clean, efficient first 45 minutes.
Yeah, they've been sharp, and even the Riverhounds' opportunities, they didn't spring from Hartford's mistakes, just smart, incisive balls up the left side from Pittsburgh, and that's still there as Junior Etu's sizing one up here.
Played on the far side.
Boudadi's getting a little bit of a baptism by fire on his return.
That voice you hear in the background is the 7th-year head coach, Bob Lilly. He's right near where our crowd mic is down on the field level, and none too pleased.
He's a George Mason alumnus, so we know he's well-schooled.
And that's where Phil went to school. All you UConn fans who remember the 06 NCAAs can send your emails to Phil. Here's a dangerous send in front. Kept by Blackstock, but Tristan Hodge will get there first.
Targeting E.J. Johnson. He couldn't get that on goal, but a very dangerous ball across the 6-yard box that Henry Navarro had no interference in. No Riverhounds, though, looking for that second ball, and that chance then goes begging.
Griffin trying to orchestrate in the middle.
Got Blackstock near us.
They give him a little space. They kind of drop back, and Pittsburgh will drop it back to Hogan.
Yeah, Blackstock was unaccounted for on the right side. Beckford saw him late.
Johnson plays it back. Dangerous in the box, and we've got a foul handball on Pittsburgh. So it will be a Hartford free kick. Don't miss our next home match, Friday, June 21st at 7:30 against Tampa Bay Rowdies. We give out exclusive Dylan bobbleheads and celebrate with everyone's favorite $2 beer, $1 hot dog night. Visit hartfordathletic.com/tickets to get your tickets today.
Nice little stretch of giveaways as well. Today was the first 500 fans got free ice cream.
Trying to keep people hydrated and fed, Phil.
Well, you and I were here about 2.5 hours before
I didn't
kickoff.
see any ice cream.
Oh, first 498 fans got free ice cream. A couple might have gotten lost in the shuffle as we came through the gates, but plausible deniability.
Johnson and Von Kaziel collide. Won by Pittsburgh. Here's Emmanuel Johnson.
Great
touches
touch.
it around Farrell. He's got runners in the box, and
cross is lacking.
Fortunately, Hartford is there. Jordan Scarlett to knock it up to Beckford. Now Chapman changes fields to the far side to Epps. Epps dribbling back and finds Beverly Mei-and-Galina. 2-0 Hartford. Mei and Galina unassisted in the 6th minute. And then a beautiful sliding tip-in of a DeShane Beckford setup in the 17th. If you're just joining us in Pittsburgh, you might not recognize. Here's Galina. Plays it up ahead for Beckford. Puts it on goal with a diving save by the man I was going to mention, Jacob Randolph.
I think on that long ball in, Galina might have gotten away with a handball. From my vantage point, we're far away. We may see on a replay. Seemed to handle it as he brought it in. But as a striker, it's not your job to do the officiating. He kept the play going. And we'll see if if he did handle. No, it looks like just a fortuitous bounce with Sean Super on his back and then plays Beckford, who's running away from goal. But still, Randolph well held on the stretch.
Langston Blackstock plays it in the middle. Here's Johnson. Flag is up.
Still a good tackle by Hodge nonetheless, but Johnson wasn't offside by much. He has been making some very dangerous runs on this right side.
Bob Lilly, as you might be able to hear in the background, not a happy camper with this Pittsburgh Riverhounds team. He's already made 3 substitutions at halftime, which means he only has 2 substitution windows and 2 substitutes left. And this is a team without Luke Biazzi, who plays a lot, and Aiden O'Toole, who doesn't.
Yeah, for those in Pittsburgh watching, Biazzi, Lilly alluded to the fact that if Pittsburgh didn't have a midweek match against Louisville City, probably would have made the trip and been available for selection off the bench. He played 9 minutes against Charleston Battery a week ago, but with 3 matches in 7 days, Lilly thought it'd be better for him to recoup at home.
And Tampa Bay leads Lou City 2-0 in the 40th minute.
They've been putting up some eye-opening score lines. They won in Sacramento. They beat Tulsa 5-0. I know Tulsa isn't having the best season, but to dominate there.
Nice destructive tackle by Budati to knock it over the goal line. It'll be corner kick number 3 for the Riverhounds here in the 54th minute. They take it quickly. Hodge heads it out of danger. Sample keeps possession for the Riverhounds.
Patrick Hogan still looking for some service, so if Harford's able to generate a turnover here, might have an opportunity on a counter.
Played to the 18. Here's a shot by Hogan. Deflected wide. Another corner kick. Second corner kick in the matter of seconds for Pittsburgh.
And Jordan Scarlett trying to inspire this defensive unit to play smart, to stay physical, to not let off here.
You see the shot deflected wide. They play it back.
Yeah, they tried to go quickly again there to Griffin. But I believe it was Hodge who stepped to that and got a right boot to clear the danger.
Super keeps it in, but he can only serve it into the suites, and that's not going to help, so it'll be a Harford goal kick. The Fix is Connecticut's premier standalone IV vitamin therapy boutique, offering customized intravenous vitamin infusions and intramuscular vitamin injections that maximize health, performance, and recovery, with all services administered by licensed registered nurses. Located in West Hartford Center, visit thefixivtherapy.com to learn more.
Pittsburgh still pressing high here, which is a bit of a calculated risk. You certainly have the opportunity to create a turnover and have numbers in your favor, but Harford has proven their ability to counterattack, and Galina is still keen, it seems, to get a long ball out of the back.
Galina is going to get called for the foul there. And Pittsburgh, with a quick restart, just gives it away. Here's Galina.
1v1.
1v1 with Hogan. Tricky dribbles, and Hogan says, not this time, my friend. Galina gets it back. Again, this is one match after Michi didn't get a shot on goal last week. He came out tonight, shot out of a cannon.
Yeah, He's been on a hat trick since 17 minutes, and he seems very intent on at least creating an opportunity to complete it.
Bob Lilly may have seen enough. Philly sat down on the Pittsburgh bench. Now Tristan Hodge.
He couldn't have been pleased with that quick restart and immediate turnover. That's worst case scenario. If it's on, go for it. But if not, you can create some serious trouble for yourselves.
Jordan Scarlett has some problems, but gets it back and dribbles up field.
Good
Van Zeel with plenty of space to run. Tackled from behind, gets it up to Epps. And Marcus plays it off a Riverhounds player over the east touchline.
That was a very good tackle on Van Kazeel. Dangerous situation for Hartford with that incisive pass going forward as the trainer is summoned.
Pittsburgh players over on the far side stretching. I think that, oh no, there's a player down on the ground.
Yeah, it's Osamanu over there.
Hilal Osamanu, the native of Ghana who played his college ball at Marshall.
And he transferred there from Charleston where he played with Thomas Van Kazeel. So those two spent a little bit of time together at Division II Charleston. Weird situation on this cross. It didn't look like he got hit that hard, but maybe something got in his eye. I mean, it was a delayed reaction for Osamanu to go to the deck.
Pittsburgh trainer Sam Cervantes out to take a look at Osamanu starting his 13th game out of 14 this year for Riverhounds.
Part of that experienced back line. I mean, so many of these guys are returning players between Osamanu and Hogan, and we mentioned Luke Biasi staying at home. Danny Rivera will get some playing time. May see him coming off the bench. He's in his 6th season with the club. Junior Etu, a returning player as well. So it's a bit of a head scratcher that this team that was so proficient in the regular season last year has struggled coming out of the gate.
Here are the two goals. In the 6th minute, Galina gets behind Hogan, and the first shot at Jacob Randolph goes past him, and then watch the setup by Beckford, slides it across the face of the goal, and Galina times it perfectly. Nothing that Randolph could do about either goal.
No, and he made a great save to keep Galina off the board between the two of those.
Pittsburgh pressing, almost given away. Johnson trying to stay onside, he can't. Johnson almost had the steal and then tried to get back onside, and he couldn't, so it'll be Hartford ball just shy of midfield.
And Hartford had all 10 outfield players on the attacking half for Pittsburgh. If Scarlett hadn't gotten back to his own half, this may have been onside for Johnson. From that angle, he looks onside, but we were watching it live. There's a little bit of a delay between when the ball was released. Johnson was off, but only just.
Hodge pressured by Emmanuel Johnson. Long ball. Beckford has it. The drop back to Thomas Van Kazeel. Beckford gets around Blackstock. Plays it along the 18. Cleared to the right. Chapman drills it high and wide into the parking lot.
That ball spent a lot of time trickling across the top of the 18-yard box.
There you get a look at Yunus Budati in his first game back with Hartford. The announcement of his acquisition on Friday, it was actually Budati who drilled it into the food tents. Hartford back with possession. Van Kazeel plays it ahead. Chapman. Far post, nobody there. Beckford will get there first for Hartford. 1v2 tries to split the double team. And it's cleared out to midfield where Farrell gathers it in for Athletic.
And Joe, we've seen in this little run of play as there's an offside flag up there against Epps, the difference in Hartford this week in particular versus the last three, when they've played well, they lost late on against New Mexico, but there were spells there where balls are played into the box, but there was no target man. There was no one for whom a Beckford or a Tristan Hodge, not in that New Mexico game, but a Marcus Epps, nobody to whom he could target the ball. They're getting guys in there, namely Galina, who's being available, that number 11, right around the penalty spot.
Flourish is proud to be Hartford Athletic, or to fuel Hartford Athletic with our healthy, delicious food. Here's Johnson. We'll get back to that in a second. 1v2, deep in his own end. Langston Blackstock, watched by Van Kazeel. Griffin's open. Sends it through, and Barrera will get there. So as I was saying, Flourish is proud to fuel Hartford Athletic with their healthy, delicious food. Let them do the same for you and your team. Order online at flourishhartford.com or visit them at 72 New Park Avenue in Hartford. Middle of the field, Chapman can't get there. Beaten to the ball by Hogan.
The entire Hartford bench is making that 30-yard warm-up run. It seems like Joey Akpononu is the one who's warming up with the most urgency, just behind the corner flag to the left of Henning Navarro.
2-0 on 2 goals by Mei and Galina. Now Blackstock, watched by Hodge. Tries to get around him, turns the corner into the box. Plays it off Hodge as it was Beckford who set up the initial defense and cleared back towards the middle where it's kept in by Osamanu. Now Griffin tries a one-touch. Hartford with the intercept. Nice lead ball on the right. Here's Budati. Dribbles into a double team, and Bradley Simple will take it away for the Riverhounds.
Von Kazil is covering so much ground.
He's so energetic. Light starting to take effect here at 8:30 on a beautiful night. Here's a lead ball for Blackstock. Sends it into the box. Here's a shot. Hits the post. Emmanuel Johnson caught wood. Second post hit tonight by Pittsburgh. Barrera was beaten. And Emmanuel Johnson, one of the subs for Pittsburgh, hit the post. Now Hodge gets ahead on it, some hesitation, and finally cleared upfield. This isn't playing, feel like it's a 2-0 game.
No, like I said in the first half, Pittsburgh's doing some things with their wingbacks. On the first half, it was Junior Etu. In this half, it's been Langston Blackstock, a guy who was a rookie last year. Bob Lilly praised his development year over year. Can play on the left or right side, but he gets upfield with bad intentions. He's made some dangerous runs, really testing Tristan Hodge there. That was a great ball to E.J. Johnson. A hold of a jersey there.
Epps got held.
Deserves a
by
booking.
Osamanu, and he'll get booked. Second Pittsburgh player to get booked for Ilal Osamanu, number 5 on the season. So Hartford will get a direct.
And a moment to exhale. But to finish that thought, Langston Blackstock is the one who's been creating a lot of problems and asking a lot of questions of Hartford. Farrell there makes the block at the 6-yard block, but E.J. Johnson there on that secondary run smacks it into the post. So they've hit the post, Pittsburgh has, to both sides of Henning Navarro. As Joe, it looks like Danny Barrera is getting stripped and ready to come on.
Yep. Longtime Hartford Athletics star. As they're bringing the substitute over to the table, the card. So I would expect Chapman to put this in play about 13 yards inside of the... Nope, it wasn't Chapman. Here's Epps. Shot is blocked. Taken off his cleat.
And look at Johnson stride upfield calling for a long ball.
So we will get to see the popular Danny Barrera for the 3rd time this year, and Deshane Beckford will come to the bench. What will that do shape-wise to what Hartford's trying to do?
So it seems as though, Danny Barrera is a guy who can play anywhere in the midfield. He hasn't been getting the minutes. He played the entire second half in New Mexico at altitude in Albuquerque a week ago. Prior to that, only 16 minutes registered on the season, as we see a replay here of this challenge from Tristan Hodge to stymie the counterattack. Earned himself a yellow card, the left back on the opposite sideline. Before Barrera, I think it's going to be possessing the ball in the center of the park with Jay Chapman, just trying to slow things down, slow Pittsburgh down, and take control of the game.
6th yellow of the year for Hodge. Westfield Bank, proud to support Connecticut's customers, communities, and crowds cheering for Hartford Athletic. Westfield Bank, what better banking is all about. Online at westfieldbank.com. I thought Lance Reiser, our PA announcer's needle, got stuck there.
To answer your question, Joe, Danny Barrera's gone to the right side, and Marcus Epps has switched over to the left midfield spot, where he had started against New Mexico, here against Rhode Island a couple weeks ago, and against Monterey Bay. So he's comfortable going right or left side. Barrera favors the right.
Nice slide tackle by Budati. For Danny Barrera, this is his 131st match for Athletic. He played against Indy 11 in that 4-1 loss.
Pittsburgh player down on the far side didn't see what led to that.
It's Junior Etu talking to our referee, Joshua Encarnacion. As you see, Etu has had a very active night on that left side.
As we sit here with 24 minutes plus stoppage time left, Joe, this is a situation in which this game, I think, could open up really quickly. Pittsburgh knows they need to score not once but twice. Hartford has shown an adeptness at countering Pittsburgh, at least in the first quarter of an hour. And Galina still up there and testing Patrick Hogan out of the back. I don't think we're done seeing goals in this game.
Super had been talking to Bob Lilly, sends it towards the box. Ribeiro off the line. There was no Pittsburgh player there, so Hennon gathered his in, and now will take his time before restarting the play.
Having that experience in goal for Hartford is so significant. A 34-year-old in Ribeiro who's good with his hands, comfortable in a crowd. He's played some high-level football, 38 appearances for Sporting Lisbon and Atlético Mineiro in his native Brazil. We saw a situation right before halftime where in a crowd he brought the ball down, held it well. He's a guy, when the ball goes to him, he's going to know whether to distribute it quickly or take a breath, exhale, and try and preserve this lead.
There's Bradley Sample, who Bob Lilly in our phone conversation mentioned has been playing extremely well for his team. Sample out of the University of Louisville.
Yeah, they trust him a lot in the middle of the park. I mean, Danny Griffin, again, is the spoke in the wheel, but Bradley Sample is somebody they think could get some significant touches and have some memorable moments and as we tick toward the midway point of this season.
2-0 Hartford on 2 Galina goals. For Beckford, his first assist for Athletic on the second Galina goal. Pass for Blackstock is deflected by Epps. Taken away from him.
But you can see the run was there. If not for that deflection, Blackstock's getting that ball again in the channel with a little bit of space.
And Epps furious with Joshua Encarnacion. He thought he had gotten fouled before that. How much do you think the aerosol spray can industry has had their revenue go up ever since officials started using the aerosol spray can to mark lines?
You would have been wise to buy some stock as soon as that regulation became the norm. This is going to be put into a dangerous spot off the boot.
Hogan.
Of Danny Griffin.
Or Griffin, I should say. Looking to initiate.
Outswinger's going to go right at Ribeiro.
Sails wide. Cleared out. Good job by the Hartford defense. Pittsburgh throwing.
A little bit overhit by Griffin. I know he probably wanted that header back, but where Hogan was making the run, he was backpedaling. Wouldn't have gotten much pace on the ball had he gotten his head to it.
Looks like Anderson Asiadu will be the second Hartford sub of the night.
Blackstock wide
open on the right side. Hodge converges on him. Langston Blackstock. Hodge tackles it away. Plays it back, and it's cleared off. Farrell goes to the ground in pain.
I think Farrell had hoped to get a deflection there, but the linesman intervened. I think he saw contact between Blackstock, who was lunging in for Farrell.
As you see Bob Lilly in the blue shirt. And they're going to call the Hartford trainer, the head athletic trainer, Mike Diaz, out to the pitch. Gives me the chance to tell you that Ultimate Frisbee is coming to Hartford. 3-time UFA champions, the New York Empire, are playing their biggest matchups of the season right here at Trinity Health Stadium. Witness the epic rematch of the 2023 championship game against the Salt Lake Shred on June 29th. Then the always exhilarating rivalry game against the DC Breeze on July 20th. You can throw out the records when they meet. Grab your tickets now at shopempireultimate.com.
Got a change for Pittsburgh, Joe. Pierre Caillet on. He had what probably should have been a pass that led to a game-winning assist in the 90th minute of the 0-0 draw to Charleston last week.
Here's Galina, keeper's out. Randolph looked like he hit it with his hand. Brendan Burke, apoplectic on the near sideline.
That is a huge moment. Indecision for the debuting starting goalkeeper Jacob Randolph. If that ball was handled, that would have been a straight red card and functionally finished off the match. Even still, a goalkeeper should never put himself in that situation. If you're going to come out, be 25 yards from goal, you have to clear it. Get it out of danger.
Here's Blackstock. Gets it back to Sample. Looked like he was passing to the referee, and Ribeiro comes out to take that. In the 72nd minute, watch this here. Galina with the nice ball for Galina.
Now that's chest.
Yeah, good play.
Fortuitous for Randolph.
Now, if he wasn't 6'4", 235 pounds, he might have hit it with his hand.
Oh, my goodness. As a goalkeeper, if you can't play it with your feet, you can't put yourself in that position.
E.J. Johnson, who's played very well for Pittsburgh since coming on at the half. Here's Sample. Deals it back for Suber. Now Hogan. 2-0 Hartford. Into the 72nd minute. Hartford trying to improve to 5-7-1 and 4-2-1 at Trinity Health. Remember last year, and it's a completely different team, Hartford only won twice at home last season. Once again, we welcome all of you watching in the Steel City on Sportsnet Pittsburgh, as well as our regular viewers. So Anderson Asiedu will come in for Thomas Van Keziel, who gets subbed off for the second game in a row. As you see, Van Keziel, always a hard worker.
He put in a shift in this game, and carrying a yellow card in a game where Pittsburgh are showing promise, showing some teeth with their attacking. It doesn't surprise me that Van Keziel comes off. Now, I'm curious to see Asiedu's stepping right into that defensive midfield spot. We've seen him play on the right midfield. We've seen Danny Barrera play centrally. I am curious to see if they end up making that switch at some point, or if Asiedu ends up drifting out to the right and they bring Barrera back centrally, getting that experience from somebody. I mean, Barrera's in his own zip code right now.
Asiedu, it started two straight, but got taken off with the half last week.
For Barrera, in fact.
In New Mexico, right?
But he did start in this holding midfield spot next to Beverly Makangila against Rhode Island the last time Hartford were playing at this park.
Pittsburgh has hit 2 posts tonight, and we could be all tied up, but the two Galina goals have stood up. Asiedu with good anticipation, and Osamano has to chase for Pittsburgh.
We weren't terribly far from a Makangila to Galina assist.
Right. Wrap my tongue around my throat. Hartford not pressing as hard in the front line, dropping the defense back. Blackstock has had the ball on his cleats a lot tonight.
Yeah, that's the benefit of having a multi-goal lead. You can keep your shape, stay disciplined as Tristan Hodge picks his pocket and Asiedu's able with fresh legs to move forward.
Jonas Budati in his Hartford return. Acquired on Friday. Barrera dumps back to Makangila. He handed it right to Langston Blackstock.
Yeah, that was an ambitious pass trying to get it to Marcus Epps in the left channel. Even if Epps got it, it's not as though he had a great scoring opportunity. So risk-reward, I think he probably should have kept that in his pocket.
Approaching the 76th minute of play. Sean Suber in the middle. Danny Griffin taking off the ball. Chapman called for the foul. Griffin looks for the quick restart.
Yeah, something I'm seeing from Pittsburgh is trying to have this kind of overload between Johnson and Blackstock on the right side as the ball, of course, comes down the left channel as I'm saying that.
Hodge inadvertently heads it over the goal line. 5th corner kick of the night.
But these
for
two
Riverhounds.
These two pacey players of Blackstock and Johnson, as good as Tristan Hodge is, putting him in a scenario where he has to make a quick decision, and then either you have Blackstock with a clear opportunity to cross or Johnson
King Kenny
to get a shot on goal.
Kennardo Forbes will initiate the corner from the left of Ribeiro. Floats it back, headed out of there by Farrell. Shot, sails into the suites. The Performance Lab is an all-inclusive model that brings the latest technologies for pain relief, wellness, and mobility together under one roof with one-on-one treatments and a customized approach to fit your needs. The Performance Lab will get you moving and feeling your best. Phil Murphy in for Mark Donaldson, who we will now call Wally Pip. I'm Jody Ambrosio. Glad you're with us. No, I said that once before, and Donaldson gave me grief, saying nobody knew who that was. But you chuckled, so.
Well, I mean, if I end up being the Iron Horse, we'll take it.
Right, exactly.
Today.
Exactly. Shots on goal, or shots so far, 8-7 Pittsburgh. Shots on target, which is a deceptive stat.
Yeah.
4-1 Hartford, because 2 Pittsburgh shots were dead on and caught the woodwork.
Yeah, I know there's the crossbar challenge. If this were the post challenge, Pittsburgh would be winning. They've beaten Ribeiro to his right and to his left. Very unluckily, but that's been the name of the game for Pittsburgh this season. Joe, coming in, we said only Birmingham had a greater disparity in terms of expected goals and goals than do the Riverhounds.
Blackstock headed over the touchline. Pittsburgh throwing.
And I imagine that XG goal disparity, once those numbers are updated tomorrow, Pittsburgh may be at the bottom of the league because those are terrific opportunities. As close as they were, fact of the matter, they didn't end up in the back of the net, and that's why they're stuck on 11 goals for the season.
And Galina back to help. And they say Michi was over the west touchline when he hit it off his Suber, so it'll be Blackstock to throw.
He has covered a lot of ground today. Wouldn't surprise me if late on they bring on a defensive sub for him to give Galina a well-deserved reprieve.
Although he's a 90-minute man. Here's Asiadu.
Got an opportunity
Anderson
here.
Asiadu with plenty of room to run. Oh, just a little light for Galina, or Michi might have been in 1v1 against the keeper, Randolph, again.
Asiadu did so well to get that upfield, but that pass needed more on it. It's got to be said, it was lacking. A missed opportunity there for a Hartford.
Approaching the 79th minute. Lights now taking full effect. Bradley Sample drops it back. Touched over to the far side. Sample trying to be the trigger man in the middle. Hogan distributes right to Subert. Now Sample.
And Joe's
middle, I'm sorry, for Johnson, and knocked away from him.
As I'm looking at the players who are warming up, nobody's really doing so with much intent on either side for Hartford or Pittsburgh.
Here's a shot and a save. Best save of the night by Henan Ribeiro.
Yeah, and the center backs will exhale because Keziah Sterling should have done better with this. Great to bring it down. Gets a left boot on it, but it's pretty much right at Ribeiro. A goalkeeper should always make that save.
Looked like a little miscommunication between Scarlett and Farrell as to who was going to go up and mark.
Certainly not the time for it, not the player. Keziah Sterling, though, he's only found the net 3 times. I mean, you look at him, South Georgia Tormenta last season, or the last 2 years, 30 goals and 48 appearances. Coach Lilly says it's a matter of time before he finds that goal-scoring form, and Pittsburgh nearly did in the 79th minute.
Epps has it in the left channel. Cuts it back, gives to Asiadu. Now Hodge. 2-0 Hartford. 80th minute of play. Hartford trying to snap their 2-game winless streak and get an important 3 points. Asiadu's been very active since coming in. Played up ahead into the box and knocked back.
Osamanu did very well to recover there. He was beaten by Barrera, but just the big physical athletic center back that he is basically bullied Barrera off the ball and stymied the chance for Hartford.
Blackstock for Johnson.
Great pass.
Sends it towards the goal. Ribeiro the only one there.
Yeah, it would have taken a predictive near post run from Keziah Sterling. I think he wanted that ball closer to the penalty spot. Had he been making a near post run, though, that would have been problematic.
Holiday Inn Express Newington, conveniently located in the heart of the dining and shopping district of Newington on the Berlin Turnpike, Route 5/15. Whether you need one night or an extended stay, Holiday Inn Express will make your stay convenient and cost-effective. Epps hits the turf as he's fouled.
Well done by Epps to work back, to win that aerial duel, and then even when he didn't really have anywhere else to go, to play a calm but firm ball back to Henan Ribeiro, and then even to win the foul on top of it. So now Hartford can slow things down, exhale, as we tick inside of 9 minutes left until added time.
Hartford only used 2 subs in the tie here against Rhode Island as Danny Rivera comes in the game for Pittsburgh for Ilal Osimanu. So playing just 13 players, Brendan Burke has shown he would do that.
Well, and again, it works in your favor as you get toward these latter stages to have some subs in your pocket to a little bit of gamesmanship with the substitution and stretching things out a little bit.
Hodge towards the 18, headed down.
It wouldn't surprise me if we saw a substitution or 2 on the other side of the 90.
Although the way this has gone, I don't think there's much stoppage time.
Yeah, but I mean, when was the last time you saw 1 minute added? It feels like in the second half of any match,
Yeah,
it's a
give
3 minute
time,
minimum.
right.
Plus, we had a couple players go down and get some, medical attention or referee conversation. A couple substitutes on either side.
Only 4 yellows in the game.
Pittsburgh's changing its shape here. It looks like they're going with 3 at the back. I mean, Blackstock is as much of a winger as he is a right back. But Danny Rivera coming in for a center defender. Pierre Caillet slips inside, and Rivera will play more forward. So that was an attacking substitution for Pittsburgh.
Nice one touch by Barrera, but Asiadu could not control. Danny Griffin almost overruns the ball, but Sample there to help out. 2-0 Harford, Mei and Galina in the 6th and 17th minutes. First brace of the season for the home team. Hodge steals, and Farrell will take his time.
Yeah, that steal was a byproduct of some pressure by Epps. Good effort from him as we get late into this match.
I should say Chapman 8, not 15 Farrell. Lead ball. Asiadu's been the target man for a lot of the Hartford possessions here in the second half. He is again, but Hogan, who towers over Anderson, knocked it away. Now Pittsburgh will start the counter. Played up ahead on the left for Johnson, who's over there now. Emmanuel Johnson. Barrera comes back to Markham. He sprints by him. Gets into the box. Shot knocked down and cleared by Tristan Hodge.
He had a decent bit of space inside the box.
Pittsburgh keeps possession. Riverhounds have been shut out 7 times this season. Sent in the box. And we're going to have a foul on Pittsburgh as Hodges run over.
Yeah, the game within the game with the first half when Pittsburgh had the ball was Etu against Budati. In the second half, it's been Hodge v. Blackstock. And Hodge here stands his ground, wins the foul, and now Hartford can take their time as we get to 84 minutes of the 90.
And then Ribeiro has not registered a clean sheet this season. The 2 for Hartford came from Paul Walters while he was on loan from FC Cincinnati, where he has since gone back to.
We may need an arbiter to decide if that's talking about a no-hitter in the 8th inning or not.
Oh, that's a good point. Ball played deep, but Hogan gets there, and Randolph plays in the direction of Blackstock. Johnson for Pittsburgh. Hodge takes him down. Foul called. In the middle of the field. Boy, Pittsburgh having a hard time, Phil, linking 3 or 4 passes together here. You can tell it's desperation mode. Epps does a nice job of banging that off of Sterling.
Yeah, Epps has been very impressive in this second half since moving to the left side, causing a lot of problems defensively, stepping in for some challenges.
Tonight's Hartford Business Journal business alliance partner of the match is Blue Crest. Played back to Jacob Randolph. He comes way out of the goal. He came out earlier and made a nice play to take it away from Galina, who was headed for a breakaway.
No hiding the coaching point from Bob Lilly there, screaming Langston go high, the right back, who he now wants to be a full-on forward up front on the right side, challenging Tristan Hodge and trying to stretch this Hartford defense, create some lanes either for Blackstock or for E.J. Johnson.
Looks like Hodge cramped up.
Yeah, he's cramped up or rolled his ankle. It was a weird step.
Tristan slow to get up. He has been dependable on that left wing position for Hartford. He started all 12 games that he's been here for, was away playing for Trinidad and Tobago last week in the loss at New Mexico United.
He's played 50 minutes or 90 minutes in 5 of the last 6. It would be 6 of 7 if he plays to the final whistle today. One of the few holdovers from Hartford a year ago.
Right, one of only 4. Really, him and Mei and Galina are the only two who play a lot. Barrera in there as a substitute tonight. So, Enan Ribeiro will come up, put the ball down, and launch it down towards the north goal.
Taking an extra half beat, as is wont to happen when you have a 2-goal lead as we tick into the 88th minute.
Knocked off the back of Epps' head. Should be a Pittsburgh throw-in, and it is.
So, no questions about the shape that Bob Lilly desires. EJ stay in the middle, Langston go high on the right. But I mean, again, with the physical capabilities of those two men and the finishing of Keziah Sterling, which we still haven't yet seen for the Riverhounds, but we know he's capable of it, you can show the playbook. The challenge is stopping
it. 88th minute. Thrown towards Sterling, but Asiadu will play it upfield. All Hartford is trying to do offensively is spring Galina on a long ball. Pittsburgh chasing 2 goals, but here they come in the middle. Griffin tackled off the ball, and that's going to be a dangerous situation for Pittsburgh just outside the 18.
Yeah, it's probably the right call from referee Joshua Encarnacion. He gave Pittsburgh a half second to see if he was going to play the advantage, as that was a great crossfield pass, and Barrera late to get in, doesn't get the ball, gets the man. That's a foul. But referee wouldn't want to stop a Pittsburgh attack if they had momentum as he sets up the wall the full 10 yards back. Pittsburgh has options here, Joe. They can go for goal.
They have scored on only 1 set piece this season. Canardo Forbes.
And that set piece, I believe, was a corner kick.
Yes, it was. Griffin there as well. Dangerous opportunity. They play it to Forbes, to Griffin. A shot saved by Ribeiro. Well executed play, and Enan Ribeiro keeps it a 2-0 game in favor of Hartford. That was well executed.
Yeah, that was off the training ground, giving Danny Griffin a little window to shoot around the wall. Sample to Forbes, tees it up.
He's like a holder in football.
Yeah, he gets good pace on it, but Ribeiro was wise to it. And so that's so much of goalkeeping, though, is it's not the reactive save. It's taking that step or half step and reading the attacker's intent, which he did. So he's able to go down to his right, make a routine save, and hold on to it, even though Griffin hit it with some sting.
You know, Danny Griffin, not just to get it closer, but would love to score about 7 minutes away from his hometown in Wethersfield, just to the south of Hartford, for those of you watching in Pittsburgh.
The Oakwood Soccer Club product. I mean, everybody's from somewhere. He's from here. He's Pittsburgh through and through, though, with his professional career. In his second stint there, played 5+ seasons.
Long ball played towards the box, headed down. Griffin grabbed. And it's going to be another dangerous situation for Pittsburgh.
Yeah, Mei and Galila's protesting, but that was a foul. He grabbed Rivera around the waist. And I mentioned earlier about Joshua Encarnacion's high count of yellow cards. I don't really question any of them that he's doled out here. That was an intentional tactical foul for Mei and Galina to slow a scoring opportunity by Rivera. Now they have a shot straight away from goal, 20 yards out, maybe even too close to get up and down and test Rivera.
Brigno Vineyard stoppage time, 5 minutes of stoppage time as you watch the replay of Mei and Galina pleading his case. So Hartford's wall will be back near the penalty spot.
Behind the penalty spot. The challenge here for the kick taker is going to be getting it up and down, straight on from bang on 20 yards out. But if they can get it on frame, it's going to be hard for Ribeiro to cover that.
You have to figure it'll be Griffin again. Maybe this time direct, not with the setup. Sample standing by the ball as well.
Yeah, we'll see if Pittsburgh keeps the same cadence. They were able to get the look that they wanted for Griffin on the last.
Because you can't get a defender out there at time.
No. I mean, Asiedu's trying to get a little bit of an encroachment on that 10-yard line.
Griffin now directing Sample. Shot deflected, header out. Boy, Henan Ribeiro has been coming up big in the last 5 minutes.
Canardo Forbes blasted that to Ribeiro's left. It's a save as a goalkeeper you always want to make. We're not having to travel too much. But that shot, too, had some sting on it. And just strong hands. Getting two hands, or one hand on the ball, but getting it just enough that Pierre Caillet could not get a header on frame. And then Ribeiro catches it on the goal line, covers. If he does close out this clean sheet, it has been earned.
Epps heads it downfield. Pittsburgh knocks it over the touchline.
I'm talking about the no-hitter now in the 9th inning.
I know. Well.
And Joe, as mentioned, here comes Ian Shaw for one of these post-90-minute substitutions to stretch things out just a little bit. Hartford knows they would need to concede twice to drop points in this situation. It's getting late early for Pittsburgh.
Shaw hasn't played in the last 4 matches. We'll see who he comes in for. Maybe Epps. Marcus has had a good work rate tonight.
Could be Galina. Could be a straight defensive player swap for your central midfielder swap for your striker up front and just put 11 guys behind the ball and dare the Riverhounds to beat them twice.
Scarlett with a Ray Guy type of punt, although that may not go over well in Pittsburgh.
Hall of Famer Ray Guy.
Jordan hits it again. Ball played in the air. Suber dumps it in the middle. Play it up ahead to Johnson on the run. Scarlett has him marked. Drops it back for an entry into the box. Played wide. Hodge with the back header. And Epps will chase it down. Here comes Marcus. Passes in the middle. Deflected to Asiadu.
See, I see what Epps is doing there to try and keep possession, but this late in the game, I think you kick it as far as you can, just like that.
Which you just did. Well, that was almost
see what
a handball on Hogan.
Or win a foul.
And then Galina gets taken down. And it's a yellow card on Pat Hogan in the 94th minute. And it is the end of the night for Mei and Galina as the 18-year-old Ian Shaw comes in. On Hogan, his 3rd yellow of the season. 4th yellow on Pittsburgh tonight. Mei and Galina slowly walking off the pitch to rave reviews and a standing ovation from the crowd in the near sideline.
And the referees would be justified to add on to the 5-minute minimum with this substitution, but it would take something truly special here for Pittsburgh to get any points away from it. And Galina was magnificent. Him winning that foul functionally ended this game.
Chapman plays it back to Hodge. Shaw distributes wide of Epps. And there's Hodge again. Gives it away. Pittsburgh with numbers.
Last thing Hartford wants to do there is a ball on the floor to turn it over for a Pittsburgh team running forward.
Blackstock sends it up the right touch line, and Griffin knocks it off Hodge out of bounds, and Dana Griffin in a rush to get to the ball. Now he will leave it for Blackstock to throw it in. 5th minute of stoppage time, but as Phil mentioned, could be more than 5, and that goes to a corner kick.
We had the linesman checking his watch there, not the head official, Joshua Encarnacion, but even the linesman knows it's getting late.
Sixth corner. Bernardo Farbs will take it. Winds it back. Clear it out.
Just kick it as far as he
Asiadu
can.
gets it. Foul called on Forbes. I would think we are close to the end of the night. And a successful return home for Hartford Athletic, boosting their home record to 4-2-1 this year and moving them past Pittsburgh in the standings. These teams play in the Steel City at Highmark Stadium on July 20th.
It's part of 4 straight home games for Pittsburgh.
And we have reached full time. One of the best efforts of the season by Hartford Athletic against a franchise that has given them all sorts of problems. Mei and Galina with the brace, Henan Ribeiro with 5 saves, and at the end of the night, it's 3 points for the blue and green. Hartford 2, Pittsburgh 0. We'll be back to wrap it up next. You're watching USL Championship on ESPN Plus, MyTV9, WTNH.com, and Sportsnet Pittsburgh.
Embrace the laid-back charm of island life while sinking your toes in the sand and discovering real, authentic Florida in the Bradenton area. Unspoiled beauty and pristine beaches, a vibrant waterfront downtown energized by local arts and culture, fresh Floridian cuisine with a flourish of rich history, and friendly locals ready to welcome you to this preserved paradise on Florida's Gulf Coast. Plan your visit today at BradentonGulfIslands.com.
And a goal!
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League Championship cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the expressed written consent of the United Soccer League Championship.
Don't miss our next home match, Friday, June 21st against the Tampa Bay Rowdies at 7:30 when we give out exclusive Dylan bobbleheads and celebrate with everyone's favorite $2 beer, $1 hot dog night. Visit hartfordathletic.com/tickets to get your tickets today. Tonight's match presented by Work Zone Safety. Work zones can be dangerous for road crews as well as drivers. The Connecticut Department of Transportation reminds you to slow down for work zones and always obey the orange. So, Phil, a happy crowd leaves as we take a quick look at the final stats.
And for Pittsburgh, it's more of the same. I know we tend to get a lot of the away supporters listening in. This has been the story all year. Expected goals, not leading to goals. Henan Ribeiro called upon to make some saves late, but this game was won in the opening 20 minutes. Mei and Galina getting out on counterattacks. Hartford being incisive in transition. They worked on that all week, Brendan Burke said at training, and you see the benefit. Beckford's assist, Galina on the second, and his opener. Electric night here in Hartford.
So that'll do it. 2-0. Hartford wins. For Phil Murphy, our producer John Forster, our director Bobby Kaplan, I'm Joe D'Ambrosio. Thanks for watching. Have a good night, everybody.
Pittsburgh fills in well behind him. They are keen to get him forward more and keep playing balls like that into Kizza as we get an opportunity here.
Here's Galina in the box. Keeper's out. He scores! There is your early goal for Hartford and 4 backflips by
Pittsburgh fills in well behind him. They are keen to get him forward more and keep playing balls like that into Kizza as we get an opportunity here.
Here's Galina in the box. Keeper's out. He scores! There is your early goal for Hartford and 4 backflips by to offer. Here they come again. This is Beckford, watched by Blackstock, into the box, sends it.
Pittsburgh fills in well behind him. They are keen to get him forward more and keep playing balls like that into Kizza as we get an opportunity here.
Here's Galina in the box. Keeper's out. He scores! There is your early goal for Hartford and 4 backflips by Connecticut has to offer. Here they come again. This is Beckford, watched by Blackstock, into the box, sends it front, goal! Mei and Galina off the perfect setup by Beckford. It's a Mei brace and a 2-0 Hartford lead.
I think we do have a real opportunity to see Barrera with how well he possesses the ball in the middle of the field, with Hartford having a lead. And first yellow card there, Joe.
Junior Etu. The supporters on the far side in fine form as always. That's going to go as a foul on Hartford.
And a booking.
Oh, they give Von Kezili yellow.